Morning guys, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. Beautiful day out there. I haven't actually checked the wind direction. I must check the wind direction because my car has gone in for service, and I want to get out fishing tonight. Oh dear. Yep, we got northeasterlies. Well, at least it might clear the Copper Coast. That's the only thing. It's going to be light winds, so. And then it's going east. Oh my god. And it's going back northeast. I'd rather it was northeast than east. Yeah, okay, northeasterly will do me. I might go out later for a few hours. So I just wanted to talk to you a bit today about, well, a couple of things, right? One is our friend here, the Dark Sleeper. Okay, I just wanted to dispel a few myths. Oh, dropped him. Right, I dropped him because he's slimy. I've actually baited him up, right? So I've added Halco scent to him, right? So that's not hard to do. Now you can do it easily from the bottle, right? So let's take a slightly bigger one, right? That's a 3.8 inch, 3/4 of an ounce in Wakasaji, right? Let's give you a look at that properly. The color of it. I mean, absolutely beautiful lure, right? Absolutely gorgeous. Sorry now. So that's just a Osmo pocket thing protecting itself or whatever. So you can just literally take your scent and like that, right? Just give it a little rub on. You don't, sorry, you can't see that. Just like so. You don't need to use loads, right? Get it nice and slimed up. And then every few casts or whatever, you know, or maybe not few casts, but every half hour or so, maybe a little bit less, give it an extra shot, right? I prefer the estuary. It was actually friend Clive who put me on. He said the estuary one is better, and he's right. It is. It's much better. It's a much nicer scent, and it seems to work better, right? So I wanted to just talk a bit about that lure, why I find it so good, and dispel some of the myths, right? So the most common myth is that you only fish in the estuary, and that's absolutely not true. Like actually, well, you will get like goby type fish, right? Like these guys in an estuary, right? They're far more likely to be on the coast, right? So if you fish the kind of coast that I fish, which is like shallow, reefy, rock pools, all of that stuff, absolutely just littered with, little goby style fish. All the LRF guys will tell you they target them, right, with shiny little isomies and all that stuff, right? That looks like a lot of fun. Not never done it, but looks like a lot of fun. So they're not just for fishing in the estuary. They are definitely for fishing on the open coast. And if you've got the right rod, right? So I've got a major craft sea bass custom on the way in, right? It will throw that an inordinate distance, like it will absolutely whack it out there. Okay, no bother, and then the question is, how do you fish it? Well, you gotta fish it tight to the bottom. If it's not tight to the bottom, you just forget it. You gotta get it to bump along as you just keep it coming. Now, the design on the nose is so clever, right? That turn up there on the nose means you are so protected in terms of whether you get snagged up or not. First off, the hook is hidden away, right? Sorry, I'm trying to show you now, slippy as you like. So the hook is hidden away behind these two fins here, right? So the hook is in here. Doesn't affect hook up rate whatsoever, right? And then you've got your turned up nose, right? So I find nice slow retrieve, and it's just bump, 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 bumping along, and with the added scent, then it's leaving a lovely trail behind it, right? And I've come along, I've fished all sorts of lures, right, and had no take, and then suddenly I put on a dark sleeper, add a bit of scent, whack it out there, and boom, I'm into a fish, right? The other lure, of course, that, sorry now, I just need to bend down and drop to get it. The misconception is, oh, another lure is just for the estuary, is the X-Layer. Absolutely not for the estuary only, right? Totally will fish in the estuary, right? But that'll fish on the open coast just as well as any other lure, right? Particularly in any kind of clear conditions, right? Somebody messaged me recently and said, yeah, they were fishing an Albi snack, kept getting bumped, couldn't get a take. Popped one of these out and straight away had a nice fish on, right? I mean, they're just a phenomenal sand eel imitation. Now, I have the new Major Craft Eelies on the way, and I have to say, I really like the look of them. They look great. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they're a sand eel imitation, but they do look great. The other sand eel imitation I'm always telling you about is this guy. It's the Mad Shad from Madness. If you don't have that in your tackle box, you're missing out. It gets me takes when nothing else will get me takes, right? It's really quite something. Um, yeah. So I wouldn't limit myself in terms of where I fish the dark sleeper. And I think about the dark sleeper is, I guarantee you there are loads of guys who went out, bought the dark sleeper, and thought, oh yeah, I'll give this a try. Gave a couple of casts, had no confidence in it, threw it back in the tackle box, and it hasn't come out again since. And then they go, oh no, it's no good, right? You know, like you could say that of any lure. You got to fish it, right? You got to just keep trying until you get some confidence in the lure. And once you have confidence in the lure, it's a totally different ball game, because you're focused, right? You're focused from day dot, stretch in, like boom, you know. Uh, so that's just my 10 cents on the dark sleeper. I personally, it's kind of the first lure I clip on really now these days. You know, sort of 3 inch, three quarters of an ounce, Donko or Motsugoro. And Motsugoro, the only difference between Donko and Motsugoro is that the gold is blue, uh, but realistically, very little difference between the two. You know, if they're going to hit a Motsugoro, they're going to hit a Donko, to be honest, right? Now we're going to change the topic a little bit, and we're going to talk about what I like to call stick bait fishing, right? So it used to be you had very few options, right? Like you had OSP, Dulo sticks, etc., and that was it. So, but now you've got lots more. You've got Albi snacks, you've got Evo Bass, you got all the rest, right? So myself and Charles Nelson decided, right, well, let's have a crack at this making soft plastics business. We saw a design we really liked, and wasn't in use anymore, so we decided, well, we'll make it, right? So that's it there. That's the power slide. Now it's not available yet. It will be soon, right? And it's going to be €10.99 for solid colors, and the more complex colors are going to cost a little bit more, just because they cost a little bit more to make. But it's still hella good value for, like, okay, hardy bait. Okay, now that's on a BKK 4.0, and you'll notice I've weighted that hook, right? Sorry, can you see that? Yeah, I've weighted that hook, right? I've added my own bit of lead in there. All right. Now BKK are now doing a really useful Permalock hook. That's, have I got one handy? Oh, no, my box is empty. Oh, well, there's one thing I can show you at least, right? Look at the size of that guy. There's a little Mutsugoro, right? Absolutely awesome. Is that in focus? Fantastic little bait, right? Just let's see if I can get it properly. There you go. Now you can see it. Absolutely fantastic. So, that little 2.4 inches, I've had some bass on that, right? On the light little rod. But so the Power Slide, it weighs 12 grams. I haven't actually properly measured it. It's about 100 mil, right? Maybe a little bit more. It's the same as a, give me a second, I'll tell you. Yeah, same length as a giant X layer. Exact same length, right? So, so you would fish it very much as if you were fishing a Dulo stick or whatever. That's a white with the chartreuse core. Okay, so we're core shooting them, which is a double shot process. So if you want those, you know, colored tails and stuff, they're going to be a little bit more expensive, because that takes twice as long to make as just a solid white, right? I've got to shoot the outer core and then shoot the inner core, hang them, dry them, do the whole bit with them, right? But absolutely smashing little bait. I mean, I was fishing it last night. It was like, oh geez, I just wish there were a few fish around, right? Really, really nice. What else I was fishing last night, that's a lovely combination, right? Is the Texas Eelhead from Ultimate. From Ultimate with 5-inch spindle worm. Right, that's Arcane. I was fishing Arcane and Sparkleberry last night. Two really lovely colours. Two very, very useful colours, right? I like to have naturals and then some unnaturals and what have you. I like it in 5-inch, 6-inch. Not so much at this time of year. Later on in the year, a lot more. Although somebody showed me a fish that was barely bigger than the lure that hit a 6-inch. But this, I will fish an awful lot this time of year. This is the 4-inch spindle worm in IU, right? So, absolutely. Yeah, okay. And then finally, before we go, Joe, let me show you this. This is nice. So this is kind of a translucent Power Slide. It's just lovely, isn't it? Just love the way that's just going to glint. And have I got the box of stuff there? Let me show you some of the colours I did. No, not there. Oh, they're over there. Hang on one second. So I think in Ireland and the UK, we got very focused on certain colours, and I meet a lot of Dutch anglers and other anglers and stuff, and they fish very different colours. So I began to think about, well, let's make some different coloured baits, right? And see how they go. So, uh, so uh, Michael and Evo Bass initially made the Wicklow green, right? Now, it's got a bit of fluff and stuff on it. You can see that's a softer plastisol, by the way. Right? It's softer because I've shot it for myself, right? See, I'm going to use that on a weighted jig head. There is a trade-off between how hard your plastisol is and how long your bait lasts and how much action it has, right? So if you want ultra soft baits, you can request them off me, but they will only last a fish or two. The thing is, they will have absolutely phenomenal action when they're in the water because the bait's so soft, it'll move around. I mean, look at the tail. Let me show you. Like, that's my standard production, right? So that's medium. That's soft, right? Now, that in the water is going to have a lot more action, right? So when I'm casting them for myself, I cast them soft and I'll just add weight to get it down and it'll have a hell of a lot more action. Now, it's going to get destroyed if one big fish will probably ruin the lure, right? But at the price, you know, it's not too bad. You know, I take 65 for €2. Yes, I would. Uh, so that's the Wicklow green. Then we got some sparkle orange, right? So not sure if you can see, we got some sparkle balls in there, some orange balls, and some gold glint, some gold sparkle. Really nice color. So we've got a slot on the top for your hook here, and a slot underneath also for your hook and for action, right? So it has that lovely fall, right? If you look at my shorts, you'll see a video of this, how it swims in the water. Absolutely gorgeous, right? Then I went bubblegum pink, which looks really nice. And then I started to play around and I went with some darker pinks, right? Some more of your kind of hot pinks and fluoro pinks. Also do really well. Certainly I do really well on the Seawolf needle in kind of red and hot pink, you know. So made some up in that color. Then I went totally fluoro on it, right? And just made a fluoro green version, or fluoro yellow rather. So totally fluoro, which I think will work as well. That's another. Now here's one I've made for myself. You can see again, soft, right? So one fish is going to kill that lure, maybe two. And then we got some kind of very natural, kind of sandy type, almost translucent, just a little hint of green. I'm waiting on a jewel injector, so once I get that in, then I'll start to shoot some slightly different colors. That's pretty much it. I showed you these bad boys, right? This metal from Megabass. Now it's Megabass price, of course, right? But I bought those because the Portuguese guys do so well on metal baits with just like an Eddystone eel almost stuck on the back of it, right? And that's essentially what that is. So we got it in my tackle. Oh, there's one. There's one there. Yeah, I was fishing it last night, right? that's essentially what that is, right? It's got like a little octopus and these little guys, and then it's got the Gigiacacan head, right? That's 20 grams. I just think it's going to absolutely murder bass, especially I think if the ragworm are up and on the move and spawning and stuff. That's going to be a killer lure. I'm going to finish on this, which is the cousin of the dark sleeper, the sleeper gill. And you don't hear many guys talking about them. I bought them in because our estuaries are full of immature bream, and that is the perfect profile. And I think the IU is a nice colour to represent the bream. And there's no doubt that the big bass are taking their share of those estuary bream. So I'm going to be bumping that along the bottom in a couple of spots in Wexford and Waterford. And then very, very, very finally, all this stuff is available in the shop, by the way, right? For whatever reason, the Fish US, the Fish Us stuff hasn't really proved that popular, which is a pity because it's incredibly well made and it's cheaper and it's just as effective as the Japanese stuff. Those Spanish guys really, Lorenzo really knows what he's doing. Like, that is absolutely fantastic little lure. That is the Don Baloney Mini, right? It's 10 millimeters, weighs 10 grams, and casts like a lure of about 16 grams. I mean, it absolutely flies out there. Now it sinks, but you can also fish it on the surface, get it to walk the dog, get it to pretty much just come straight retrieve. It's just so versatile. You can cast it in the channel of the estuary and let it get swept around over the head of a bass. Like, really, really versatile little lure. Worth having in your tackle box. Not to be ignored. Honestly. Very useful. And finally, and this is one that the sea trout guys should immediately go, oh my god, I need that lure. So that is the Duo Twitch Bait 77 sinking. I have it in that translucent with pink, and I have it in white, and it's just got a phenomenal it's a jerk bait, right? It twitch baited like dig 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 sea trout and then stop and it'll flutter down. Sea trout are going to absolutely murder that lure. So if you're a sea trout man, come see me on Saturday because I've got a few of these on special. So so that's it for this morning, guys. Listen, thanks a million. Looking forward to meeting some people on Saturday at the show and Adair Springs Angling Fair. We'll be live podcasting with Cormac. Delighted to be part of the Tackle Wave team, to be a distributor. They've got some fantastic lures. We'll talk more about those when they arrive. So very happy. It's been a really productive couple of days, and I've got to do a bit of fishing, which is what it's all about, right? You know, it's just get out there and get fishing. You know, whether you catch or not, who knows? But we certainly do our best. We'll be well prepared. So tight lines in the meantime, guys, and thanks again for all your support. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It makes a huge difference to me. And please comment, say hi, ask questions. I will try my best to get back to you. Thanks for everything. Take it easy. Have a good day.